Hello there.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, wow. Hi, Anne.
Yay.
It's been so long since I've had a chance to speak with you. I think it must be 2 or 3 years since we've spoken.
I don't remember. It's been a while. I know I lived in Texas then and we moved in May.
You moved in May. Where are you living now?
I'm living in Summerville, South Carolina. I'm here so I can be near my grandchildren.
Oh, wow. Grandchildren.
Yeah,
How, how old are your grandchildren?
6-year-old twins.
Oh my gosh.
Very cute.
Oh my gosh. How old are your kids?
Well, I have one and she is 47.
47? I'm 48.
Yeah, I'm certainly old enough to be your mom. Yeah, I'm 72.
72. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Wow. Okay. So I guess age age is no excuse when it comes to making your life a success and making the most out of it and changing things and making the best out of 2021.
Well, we're either alive or we're not, and if we're not alive, then I think we're listening to everyone else and we're following somebody else's drum. But when we're alive, when we're in our own self, I think then we flourish.
I like this. This is like you're talking about sovereignty.
That's a good word. That's a great word.
You're
So
talking about
are we talking in general? Or are you going to record this? Is this for one of your shows? Or are we just having a talk as friends?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna record this message, but I mean, I want to talk to you as a friend for sure. But I also want to try to encourage you to share because I know that you've got a lifetime of experience. I know you've written a number of books about creating success, and I think this is the time of year where people need to hear a successful message. And there's a lot of feminine energy that's in my business. I have masculine and feminine energy in my business, and I want to showcase feminine leadership, and I want to showcase feminine success, and I want to. And so that you're on my list of one of the ladies that I know that are a leader in that area, and I want to shine a light on that, and I want to talk about how that happens and what that means and what being divine feminine is.
Well, you told me about success in 2020, and I actually made some notes and I just wrote down what I thought were 5 principles for success. And I think that success really, whether we're male or female, we both have the same potential. Certainly in the outside world, there are different kinds of venues that we have to navigate. There are prejudices that we have to navigate. There are many things that we have to deal with. But essentially, within our own selves, there are things that we have to deal with, and I think a path that we have to take if we want our lives to be successful. I do believe that our lives are always successful. The only thing that's not is our belief about our life. And of course, that needs to change.
Okay, so can I just ask a question about that? You said everyone's life is successful.
Yes, for example, you might be the most successful at being depressed. You're successful at being a failure. We're successful at making a lot of money. We're successful at being broke. It's that we go for it in a way that we think will make us safe and okay, and we're successful at it. And if we think that with being withdrawn will keep us safe and okay because the world is a dangerous place, then we're successful at it. And so the thing to do, I believe, is to begin to have a sense of compassion on ourselves and say, I did this because I'm very successful at creating what I thought would protect me. And of course, protection is not really the energy that we need to go out and really shine. But for fear, if we've had fear, if we've been through bad situations, then of course we're going to think about safety and protection. It doesn't make it wrong. It just means we're conditioned that way.
Stay home, stay safe. Stay home, stay safe is a message that's being repetitively repeated right now. What do you think about that message?
Well, I think that there's truth in it, and I need to realize it gives me an opportunity to experience a deeper kind of safety, and that is that my safety lies in my internal reality, not in my external conditions. We have people like Viktor Frankl, who was imprisoned, and I just recently, and he just wrote wonderful stuff. John of the Cross, when we hear about the dark night of the soul, he wrote his best stuff when he was actually imprisoned. It wasn't like he had a dark night of the soul. I mean, he was like dark years. So safety really is something that's not contingent on conditions. And that's important for us to know because conditions come and go. Good conditions, bad conditions, they come and go. And we want to find a space in which those conditions don't blow us down.
So that's again sovereignty. You're speaking to sovereignty. You're speaking to being like the rock when there's a mess all around you. You're still grounded in your center, you're anchored in something that's not controlled and dependent on what's going on around you.
That is true. And I believe that it's not a responsibility, but it's a privilege because if we're strong, we actually make the people around us strong. We make people strong because emotions are contagious. They're like a disease. And if I'm really upset, then you're probably going to be upset too, unless you have that sense of peace. I just was in a conversation with someone and she had a lot of fear going on and was talking about conditions in the world. And there are things that I don't really believe. And my other friend, and this three of us were in the conversation, she said, I really appreciate your position, talking to the person that was talking about fear and so forth. She said, because you're telling us this because you're concerned about us. You want us to be prepared if there's trouble. And even though we didn't believe it, that made me feel stronger because she just put it in a perspective. And she said, I appreciate being able to hear opinions that are different than mine. And all of a sudden, I felt back in my center because she was strong in that moment. So we make each other strong, where even though it is true that we start in that center, it does radiate out to other people.
And I like to talk about that, kind of iron sharpens iron. When one shines their light, the other is lit by that. When one expresses themselves, another light is inspired by it. This is just how we're wired. Like when we share together, when we share with each other, we influence each other.
Absolutely. We do. It's contagious. Everything is contagious. All emotions are contagious.
Yes, yes.
And the more people that are in that one emotion, of course, the more power it has over us, under us, around us.
So if there's a collective group that's intending something or of a certain mind, that body of group has a collective energy together, and the more of them that are kind of bound into that sort of frame of mind and that energy, the more power that has.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why we want to stay around people that are like-minded, because they help support us, because we've all got that part in us that'll kind of pull at us and say, oh no, you can't do it, or pull at us like the world is awful, oh everything is awful, everything is falling apart. That will pull at us. And if somebody else is standing strong, it doesn't affect me as much. But we've all got that. We are not impervious to our condition and to our past learning, and we get triggered all the time. The trick, or not the trick, really is to stay present. And as I say, we can draw from others. Even when I don't have someone with me, for example, I do the Dr. Money thing. And when I don't have someone with me and I'm having a prosperity challenge, not literally, but in my mind, I pull stories of people who have had been prosperous and I read about them. And I can feel the strength from that story. I love it. There's a story on YouTube that is wonderful. There's an older woman, which is probably younger than me, but anyway, an older woman that has won all these contests, just unimaginable, like 5,000 contests or something, and she talks about her journey. And every few months I'll pull that out and I'll listen to it. And it's like, yes, this is so cool. And I can feel, and I'm not even trying to win a contest or even manifest anything. What I'm about is changing my emotional reality so that I can get back into my place in my space. Because when I'm in my place, in my space, then things start going well in my life. And even when they don't, I'm okay. I'll tell you something you probably don't know, John, but when we moved this summer, this May, my husband and I both drove 2 cars that were packed full of things. And he drove a truck too, a U-Haul. And I was in a head-on car collision. And I was in the car by myself, and my husband was already at the hotel. And we didn't go to the emergency room because of COVID, but that later that night we did go to the hospital because I was shaking and I was in a lot of pain. And so they came back and said, well, we got good news. And that news is that you don't have any broken bones, you're fine. But the bad news is that we found something in your kidney and we think that it's cancer. And it was. And so I went and I had surgery and it's gone. As a matter of fact, my understanding is now cancer is considered a chronic disease now instead of something that it used to be considered. But I went through that, and something that was amazing was that I had calls from friends, letters from friends, financial donations for my work, my ministry, and I was okay. It was like, I should be more upset about this. I mean, I've been through a lot. And there were some down times, and that was just because of the physical fatigue and pain and so forth. But I mean, basically, it was like, if I can go through this and feel like this is a breeze. And and it was so much of that was due to the community and the support that I had around me.
So you found some peace, like in the worry and the fear, maybe of cancer, like in the disease. You found some.
Well, absolutely. I called up all my friends. It was funny. All my friends that had physical problems and all the people that had friends whose husbands died, just all this stuff. I called and talked to all of them, and I felt a cushion around me of peace and joy and happiness. I mean, I was lifting people up. And I don't think I was spiritually bypassing. I think that I was just in that place that we go, assisted by other people's intention and love, where everything was just okay.
Just being present with everyone, just listening with others and sharing your upset or your issue with others was a healing therapy. Just
Well,
really.
I didn't really share my upset with people that much because I wasn't upset. That was the deal. I was okay.
Did
I was saying
you,
I was like inspiring them because I felt fine. They're calling me up. It's like, how are you feeling? How are you doing? It's like, I'm great. I'm great. And I don't think I was spiritually bypassing. I think that love just moved the fear away.
so just being present with it, like, I mean, sometimes it's just a shift of perspective that we need. Like, we don't need to be so worried about the circumstance. Kind of take a little bit of the squeeze off of it, let go of the wheel a little.
Yes, one thing I said was that, I'm okay now. And because I was asymptomatic for this cancer, and I said, I'll just worry about it when I'm really in pain and things are tough. And I thought, well, it kept going on, and I was fine. And finally, I went to surgery, and I thought, okay, when I go into surgery, I won't worry. What I'll do is that I'll start picturing the outcome that I want. And they had given me a sedative, and I never got a chance to even do that. So I never really even worried because I kept putting it off. I said, wait until there's something to worry about. I'm here, I'm in my body, I'm okay, I'm safe, I'm asymptomatic, I'm okay. And I didn't worry. Because like I said, I put it off till the last minute and then I went to sleep and I didn't have to worry.
And you woke up and everything's good and the cancer is gone.
That's right.
Wonderful. So you're just speaking to how to maybe manage a problem that a lot of people, we fall into problems, circumstances with health, with wealth, with relationships.
Well, we are in love with problems, and that's really, when I said I had written down a few ideas about success. The first idea I think it really to be successful is to counteract the belief that life is hard. Now, life is hard, but it's not hard all the time. And I have a whole philosophy, and I've written about this. It's called EZosophy, and what that means is that we suffer about a lot of things that we don't need to suffer about. But if we believe in suffering, if that is the operating system of our consciousness, then everything we do, we're going to suffer about. For example, we can make a lot of money, we can have people adore us, but if we believe we have to suffer, we're still seeing everything through those lenses of suffering, and it will not feel like success.
So suffering is really a bit of a perspective.
Well, it depends. There is genuine suffering, and that is when someone dies, we grieve. I'm not talking about that. There's emotional triggering that we get from conditions of the past that we might need therapy or journaling or affirmations or all kinds of things from. But then there's just the made up stuff. People get up in the morning, they have to get up at 6 o'clock and they have to do that every day. Well, you don't need to suffer about that every day. It's a given. Give it up. Just let it go. Don't suffer about it. We suffer about work. I have to go to work. That's not anything to suffer about. People are suffering because they don't have a job. I'm saying we don't need to suffer about so many things that our culture is built upon this suffering. And until we get that piece in place and we begin to experience, know that it's safe to have pleasure in our lives, to be okay, then everything is going to look like a disaster. Sooner or later, it's just everything is going to look like a disaster. But when we have the belief that everything is okay, and the 8-word miracle mantra is really everything can be easy or at least easier, that means that if we're making it up, it can be easy right away because we can really drop it. And it can be easier, like when I had my surgery, it was easier because people were reaching out to me and I was reaching out to them and they lifted the burden from me. So I say everything can be easy or at least easier. So let's put the word easy into the spiritual narrative, into our dialogue. And I began putting that into the dialogue in the 80s. And I believe I've been pretty successful because you will hear people talk about ease in the conversation today, where that used to not be anything that people focused on.
So dialogue, words are important, and
Absolutely. That's why I wrote a book called Words Make a Difference, because they do make a difference. There are two aspects of words. One is that the emotion behind the word, the expression and the intention behind the word actually changes the vibration of the word. So, I can go aha, or I can go aha, and that's going to happen tomorrow. I can go aha, and all of those are the same word, but they have a different intention behind them. So the word is important, and the intention, the feeling behind them, the energy behind them is important as well.
people get stuck in the same old words and the same old thoughts, and they could change their inflection with their energy and change their frequency just by changing the way that they're thinking about their words or their circumstances or speaking about them with their friends.
Yes, and we are those people, John, you and I are those people that get stuck in our circumstances. I always like to bring it back to me and we, because I believe that there's a continuum. Some people are probably more liberated than other people, but all of us have this condition that we have to deal with. And I think it's important to know that, because there's also another idea that's counterproductive, and that is a perfection. I've always got to say the right word. I've always got to have the right intention. I've always got to be on target. No, we just want to improve ourselves, as they say in the 12 step progress, not perfection. So this perfectionism also is pervasive in our society, and it's counterproductive.
Perfection. Yes, yes. So where do you think that comes from? What's trending that?
The perfectionism,
Hmm.
I think that part of it could be our belief about ourselves, and that is that we think that we're bad or we're wrong. If we have a belief, I'm wrong, and it's a hidden belief, And when I say it's hidden, it's an operating system that we have because we have quite a number of a lot of software that's running our lives. If we have that belief, then we are going to try to have everything right and to be right and to be perfect so that we can prove that we're not bad, we're not wrong. And that's why we're doing it, because it's an unknown driver in our lives. And that's why the steps to success, or to experiencing the success that's always present, is the second step really is to love ourselves. And when we love ourselves, as I'm saying, if we believe we're bad, we're wrong, we will always be messing up our reality. Even if we achieve a lot, we won't be able to see it because we'll still be down on ourselves. So that's where self-esteem and self-love and self-compassion comes in. Those things, we have to put those, they have to become the new lens through which we see our lives, because that's the only way we can see success.
Mm. I love that. Something you said there really had me, and then you threw me for a little curve at the end, and I lost it. Um,
Well, I can give you another aspect. You may or may not want to comment on that, but the next principle I would say, and that would be to develop a state of fulfillment. Because if we don't have a state of fulfillment, that is really a deep appreciation for life as it is in the present moment, again, what we'll do is we'll operate from the system of longing and grasping. Again, if we don't know what fulfillment looks like, what it feels like, if we don't embody that, again, we will not see success. So as you can see, there's more than one aspect, like a geodesic dome. When we're talking about success, we're not just talking about a straight line. We're talking about all kinds of environmental influences, influences of our friends, our emotions, our past, our conditioning. All of these things are moving to create what we see as reality. And we have to remove the layers that are untrue and go to the center where the truth lies. The center of who we are is really the only thing that will show us true success.
so you say fulfillment, so that, I mean, that's going to be a little bit of a personal choice as well too, like what's going to fulfill you. So having a clear kind of decision of kind of what would fulfill you.
Well, that's one thing in values clarification. My idea is you take the stand of already being fulfilled. Take the stand of satisfaction. Right in this moment, not to look toward external objects or situations to create a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment, but begin to embody it. I love one-word meditations, and that is, for example, if you wanted to truly understand satisfaction, then you would take that word satisfaction or the word fulfillment and meditate and contemplate on that for a week or a month. And as we begin to meditate on something like that, it begins to fill us up. There's a Sanskrit word called matrikta shakti, and that means that the word has the inherent power that we're talking about. So Matrika Shakti, the word fulfillment, if I meditated and contemplated on that, I would begin to understand what true fulfillment is. And not only just a mental, I would understand it in my body. It would become me.
So I am fulfilled.
I am
I
fulfilled.
am love.
Yes.
I am worthy.
Yeah,
I
because we're moving it from a state of doing to a state of being, because a state of doing is efforting. When we do from the state of being, it's non-efforting. But when we do to try to be okay, then it is efforting.
So how does this get, you know, kind of pulled into like a daily kind of action step? What are you suggesting that people need to do in 2021 to make sure that, you know, they're kind of working all of these ideas? I think you've listed about 5 different ideas there. How do you pull that into a real life?
Well, this may not be the answer, but this is an answer, and that is to follow our bliss. Now, there's one thing when we say follow our bliss, what we think of is A lot of times people think do what you love and the money will follow. That is not what I'm talking about. A lot of people do what they love and the money does not follow. A lot of people do what they love and they're still not happy. Look at Michael Jackson. I don't see that he had a happy life. I think that in the moment, we can learn to follow those hunches and those inklings. I'm going to give a practical example here. You see this? Can you
Yes.
see this little bug?
Yes.
My grandchildren are 6, and my little grandson started making toilet paper crafts. And they were pretty amateurish, you can imagine. He was using his imagination and he put little wings, and then I started improving them, and I got so excited that I bought all this material, and I now have a table set up to make these little toilet paper crafts. And what happens when we do something that we enjoy, pleasure, it tends to bring to us what we need and what we desire. Yesterday, one of the things I love is being able to speak to audiences and talk. And yesterday, I had someone ask me to do a virtual Sunday service, and you asked me to do this interview. Now, I didn't go out and try to figure that out. I believe that because I was following my bliss and really doing what I enjoy doing in the moment, that it brought to me the things that I desired. And so I think it's important for us to find time, because some people get so hard at work, like how many phone calls, how many people, how
Doing.
many hours, how much money. It's like, let's move into a different thing and just try this non-efforting approach of doing what we love. Another thing that I do believe in terms of practical application, this happened for me because I had a dream. And I do the Dr. Money thing, and there's a lot of tension between people, spirituality and money. People think if you're spiritual, you don't focus on money, and if you have money, you can't be spiritual. And I had a dream, and in the dream, I really was told to just picture having money 5 minutes a day, to see the money coming in. It said, think about it as a job, just like you would go anywhere. Your job would be, um, well, I just had something coming on my computer. I meant to turn that off, but I'm going to get all these emails coming in. Let me let them go. Okay, good. So, um, where was I? I got distracted about the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, we just got off.
Yeah.
Are we at 40? Do you have the free Zoom for 45 minutes?
Yeah. I'm not. Oh no, we've got no problems with time. We got
No,
no.
what I meant is that I think I can just click. I believe you can just click back into the same thing and it'll just come back up. Oh, there we are. Okay. For some reason, the Zoom, my screen went off and it said that, anyway, it went to a different
Oh
Zoom
no, no,
screen.
we're all good. We're all good.
Okay. So in my dream, I was told to just picture money for 5 minutes a day coming in. I could see it with electronic funds transfer. I could see it with PayPal, any way I wanted to, and just divorce the idea of money from any action that I might take. It didn't mean I didn't take action. It just meant to picture the money coming in. And it said, take this as a maintenance for life. For example, you would never say, is it spiritual to take the trash out? No, you just take the trash out. There's no worry or upset about taking the trash out. You just take it out. And picturing having the money in is just the same thing. It's maintenance. It's life maintenance. It's getting consciousness ready to receive so that we can receive, because if we have blocks to receiving that, we don't get it. We don't have it. And what comes happen. For example, last month, Ghost wrote a book, and I was just thinking, I just got this tax bill. I'd like some extra money to pay for it. I wouldn't like for it to come out of my regular income. And bingo, I got a job, and I asked for exactly the amount of the taxes, and I wrote a book for someone. It was a very enjoyable experience, writing this book and doing some research, because it was actually in the medical field for a doctor, and it was somewhere I didn't go, hadn't been. And it was just really cool. So
Nate.
the 5 minutes a day, I think is a practical skill that I tell everyone is just 5 minutes a day. And people will say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And they don't, but you get your clock out, you set it for 5 minutes, you picture the money coming in, and then just feel safe and okay about it. Feel fun about it. If you're feeling bad about getting money in, don't do it, because, feeling bad about something pushes it away. Feeling good about something brings it in. So
So
that is another practical skill, I think. It's
it's a
bring
practice.
in money, follow your bliss.
Yeah, a practice, and just getting up and taking a positive, affirmative, like feeling good about it. Stab at your practice and doing that kind of daily, and make it a ritual, and making it 5 minutes a day, and making it fit into your lifestyle, and gladly doing it.
And you mentioned something else in terms of a practice and a lifestyle, and that is in getting up in the morning. I think it's important not to look at our to-do list in our mind. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to do that, but to really luxuriate in those still quiet moments in the morning. When I get up in the morning, I don't hop out of bed, I stretch. The body needs to stretch. We need to bring this into our lives. And I mean, right when we get up, just like a dog or a cat, we need to stretch when we get up. And then maybe lie in bed. I lie in bed usually 15 or 20 minutes. I just lie there and I try to see what sweet thoughts will come through my mind, because this is the gentle, stillest time of the day. And it's beautiful. I have all kinds of, I get my pencil and paper and I write them down. And you may, if you, I think you're a Facebook friend, you may notice I do a lot of memes. I also have I have the one about, the money page, but I have the easy page too, and I have my personal page. So I write this stuff down and I just have so much fun creating memes out on them. But that comes from that freshness in the morning.
Lovely. So could you speak? You're speaking about money. Dr. Money is definitely your thing. But I mean, these are applications. They're the same applications for weight loss or for love. Like if you wanted to increase the love in your relationship, or if you wanted to get fit and healthy and lose weight and eat well and exercise on a regular basis, it would be the same way. Just changing the affirmation from money to changing the affirmation to health or love or joy.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to mention about weight loss and just say that too often people turn that into a moral issue. I'm a bad person if I don't do so and so. I'm a good person if I don't do so and so. It really needs to be moved from a moral issue to a health issue. A health issue is more what called Switzerland. It's more neutral. And if I'm taking it, I'm good if I eat this bad thing, or I'm bad if it needs to move from that domain into pure health and enjoyment. It's like, what more can I enjoy about losing weight? What more can I love about losing weight? What blissful thing can I do that helps me move into the space of having the physical body I want to do? Another thing about the weight is to notice how we hold our body, to be sure to hold ourselves erect and our shoulders back so that our heart is receiving, so that we can feel the strength and power in our body. And that also helps with our psychology. Our body and our mind are linked together. So psychology creates biology, but biology creates psychology too. So it's a circle. It's not just one or the other. And when we honor both those things, it's much easier to maintain a healthier body.
So standing tall, getting your chest out, getting your shoulders back, working on flexion and extension, working on a nice range of motion, stretching on our body, physically training the body, moving the body, breathing, intending, visualization. These are things we could do first thing in the morning, at the end of our day.
Yes, I'll tell you that this morning I had another call that I was talking to, and I was talking to a woman that was upset about something, and I physically got that. So what I did was I had already exercised this morning earlier, but I went and put on some great music. And so before our call, what I did was I danced or exercised to that music, because that helped bring me back into alignment. And what happens is, in the fight or flight, then we build up all this adrenaline. But if we exercise, because the body says, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible," but even if it's not terrible, all that adrenaline's left. So if we exercise to a fun kind of, I love to do fun exercise. If we exercise and it's fun, then we can move that adrenaline out of our body, and then the body's not left in a state of shock.
Awesome, awesome. One more thing I'll ask is, could you just speak to, you know, your internal wisdom, your internal intuition, like lighting a flame inside of yourself? could you make a comment about, staying with it, like having your own internal motivation, like having your own inner will and desire?
Well, you've already said it several times during this talk, I think, about being present, being centered, being non-judgmental. I think we've mentioned all of those things. And so being here now, and what that does as we begin to train ourselves to be in the present moment and to experience life as it is rather than as we interpret it, it opens the door to a bigger awareness. There are two kinds of awareness. One is the awareness of what we're experiencing and what is happening. The other awareness is the awareness that holds everything. So it's the awareness of and the awareness that holds that. And as we begin to key into that, then all bets are off, because we enter a world that is non-predictable, but is always wonderful. Sometimes we don't want to give up the safety of what we know, even when it's bad, for the safety of what we don't know. That because it's like falling off a cliff when we let go of our preconceived notions and we stand in the blank field of consciousness and let it emerge from our higher selves rather than from our lower selves.
It's scary though. It's uncertain and it's scary.
It is, it's uncertain and it's scary, but sometimes we get scared enough. Haven't you reached a point where you were just so tired or so scared where you just said, I give up? That's
Yeah,
it. And then what happens? I mean, you had that experience,
it all comes together.
it dissipates, everything starts working. I mean, it's beautiful. So surrender is definitely even more than a survival skill. It's something that we have to do over and over again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And how could people get more from you and be friends with you and maybe find out about you and your books and what you do and talk to
Well,
you?
my website is annegillis.com, and that's
Let's make sure
ANNEGI.
we link that. We'll make sure we get those
Oh,
links.
okay. Annegillis.com. Facebook, you can Facebook friend me. You can, Abundance Affirmation is one of my
Get those links.
pages.
We'll make sure
Yeah.
we put those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do that. I mean, you can private message me and get my phone number. I can give you my phone number. It's 713-922-0242. But I will tell you that I have a kind of a tough time with my phone here where we are, but I Zoom well.
Awesome.
You can Zoom me. And
Awesome.
you can get my contact information, actually, my phone number, my email address, and so forth on my website. And I want to thank you so much, John, because you are a part of the unfolding goodness of my life, just moving in at the perfect time and asking me to speak. I appreciate it so much because I'm a speaker, and without somebody to listen to or somebody to talk to me, I don't have a canvas, like a painter. I need that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing today. Have yourself a wonderful year 2021 and let's talk again soon.
Okay. Take it easy.
Welcome. See you.